So for the first few videos of this year, I have decided to do a series of looking after yourself kind of videos, making body products, so hand cream or moisturising cream, bath bombs and soap. And the soap bit is kind of scaring me. I've attempted once already and it was a complete fail. So here goes attempt number 2. So protective gear is a necessity for this part of the project because I'm using lye, which is hydrogen sulfide. Is it sulfide? So, sodium hydroxide. So there goes my B in science. Which is fairly nasty stuff if it gets on your skin, in your eyes, anything like that. So, hence the mask and the gloves, as well as the apron. Hence why I'm doing this outside in the shed. Now I need 71 grams of lye. Come on. And I'm putting that directly back in the box it came in. There's no risk of spills or anything around the shed. It's probably being a bit more paranoid than I need to be, but this stuff can be really nasty. So that's 71 grams of lye. And now I need 170 grams of water. Now I'm doing this completely separately. I'm not measuring into the water because that would be ridiculous. A little bit over on water, but that's okay. So rule number 1 with lye: don't use any kind of reactive materials, so wood or plastic and glass, safe. Rule number 2: always add the lye to your water. Rule number 3: do it in a well ventilated place with plenty of protection. The shed door is open. Once I've mixed this, I'm going to stick it outside. And I've got here the lid to the jar with a hole punched through so that I can leave it outside and nothing will get in there by accident. But it'll still be able to vent. So I'm going to add the lye in a slow and steady stream. Until all the crystals are dissolved. And this is going to get very, very hot, which is why I'm using glass and not plastic. So it looks like all the crystals are dissolved. directly in the bin. I don't know if you can see there is steam coming up. So I'm going to put my lid on. So it's still able to vent, but it's less likely to spill over if I knock it over. So I'm going to leave that until it goes clear, which will take maybe 5-10 minutes. And then it needs to cool down to about 50 degrees in centigrade, which is about 150 I think in Fahrenheit. So that is stage 1. Okay, so I'm now on to the slightly scarier bit of the soap making, although the lye is pretty scary stuff to start with. So my first attempt was a fail because I didn't do my research. Didn't realise that a Castile soap takes anywhere up to an hour before it comes to trace. It mixes completely and reacts. So after 25 minutes I thought I'd failed and binned it. So I've since then I've gone back online and done a bit of research and found a couple of recipes and things that have lots of tips and stuff like that. They still don't have any guidance as to how long it takes to trace, which is the stage you need to get it to. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen fairly quickly this time around. Maybe. So this is a Castile soap, so it's mostly olive oil. Castile soap, it should be completely olive oil, but in my research I found that you need to really replace a little bit of it with some solid oils, because otherwise it takes a long time to cure and be safe to use. So in my little tub here I've got some palm oil and coconut oil. They're both organic and fair trade, and they cost me more than the bottle of olive oil, just that much. So yeah, I may not be making a lot of soap. So I'm just going to nuke these for 30 seconds or so, just so they're liquid. Right, so in here I've got my olive oil, so that is 57 grams each of palm and coconut. You can use any solid oil you like, but that was the one that were most often used in the things I looked at. To 453 grams of olive oil. And in my lye jar here I've got 71 grams of lye in 170 grams of water. And I think that's the right ratio, because a lot of these had what they called a water percentage, or extra water added, which did make sense to me, so I'm going with the ones that doesn't have the extra water. So that may or may not be a good idea. So we shall see. I've also got my cheap stick blender. This is a £5 blender, which is definitely not going to stand up to an hour's worth of whizzing, so I'm going to have to do it in stages. And I've got my ridiculous apron on. For that, making aprons, I don't normally wear one. So I've got this on a plate, and I'll be putting it back onto the plate when I'm done with it, because I have actually burned a little bit of the surface, which I didn't realise at the time. So I'll stick my olive oil in here. Got a nice big bowl so that it's not going to splash severely, at least that's the plan. And I'm keeping my empty jar to one side so that when I'm done with the lye jar, that can go in there and not again burn the surface. And I've got a pair of really fetching marigolds, which I'll put on in a moment. Let's just check that oil. So that's my oil's melted, and that's quite hot, so adding that in there should even out the temperature. Now, depending on where I've read it, the oils and lye need to be various different temperatures. I think it speeds it up or slows down the reaction. But the main kind of thing I got was that they need to be within about 10 degrees of each other. So that's 57, that's 22. So, how long that's going to take to cool down. So I'm going to put this jar into a bowl of warm water. can get some water. Second thoughts, I'll cool down the other one. Right, so just to be safe, I'm going to cover that. And I don't want to be adding any heat to the lye particularly, because I don't know if that's going to react severely, so I'm going to put this bowl into some cold water. Hopefully that will cool down. It will cool down, it's thermodynamics, but if it'll cool down in a fairly sensible time, then I'll be able to get this done. As I said, I don't want to add any extra heat to the lye. I left it for too long because I had other things to do today. 34, not far off. I remember what that one was. It's 22, so if I can get this down to about 35, then that should be fine. It shouldn't take too long. So yeah, I did the lye at about 7 o'clock this morning and then went out, so I've been gone too long. Ideally you'd be able to hang about and keep checking temperatures so everything is equal. 33, that'll do. I can't remember what that temperature was now, brain's gone. It's 20 something, 23. Okay, so I'll get this down to 25. It's kind of like making chocolate, but with a bit more danger involved. So depending on what recipes I've read, you either need to get it down to within 10 or 5 degrees. So there's not too much difference, or you heat them both up to about 50-55 and work with them that way. I haven't done enough soap to know which way would work best, so this is still somewhat of an experiment. I don't like being nervous about cooking something because lye is quite nasty stuff and it's very caustic and very unpleasant. I'm concerned really about getting this wrong, albeit I've spent a fair amount of money on coconut and palm oil. The coconut and palm oil was more expensive to buy organic and fair trade than the oil and the lye and the mould that I've got. So soap making without the guilt is fairly expensive. But if you don't mind that, just buy any palm oil you can find, really. I think that's the issue. That's the one that's causing deforestation. So I'm not intending to make a lot of soap, but this year I want to do this kind of thing as gifts for Christmas. So I'm doing this in September because this one's going to take about 6 weeks to cure and age, or whatever it's supposed to do. So maybe even longer being a Castile soap, so we shall see. I think I over-nuked those oils. I should have just stuck them on a bain-marie, that would have done it. Again, you live and learn, and I'm learning quite a bit here. So, I've actually got an engineer coming to look at the washing machine in about 45 minutes or so. So he may well be coming in, finding me neck deep in soap. 26 that will do for now. Let's dry that off. Excuse you. Now lye is nasty stuff, and I'm just putting a bottle of vinegar to one side in case of spillage. Should have had it out earlier, but never mind. And let's stick the marigolds back on. Now it's a case of sleeves up or sleeves down. So I'll pull them up for now. If I get too splashy, I'll have to pull them down. I don't want them hanging in anything. So, I wonder if I can work this with these on. Oh yes. Okay, so I'm going to stir my lye in. And then just put the jar into the jug so it's not going to splash anywhere. I'm just going to stir this to start with before I get the mixer in. Now it is 12:45 and I will probably be fast forwarding this, so I'll come back to you hopefully in about 45 minutes when this has become soap. Anyway. Right, I've done something right, very right. This has got to trace within a couple of minutes. You can see that as I'm lifting up my blender, I'm leaving a ribbon on the surface, which is remarkably fast. I think because maybe I didn't have any extra water added, it reacted faster. I don't know, but I'm ready to pour into my moulds already. So let's just move that to one side. So I've got these silicone moulds. I don't know if this is going to be too much, but we shall see what fits. just going to smooth that over, try and even it out a bit. Got a wee bit left. I think I have made soap. I am very surprised. Now I need to cover this and then wrap it in a tea towel or something for a couple of hours so it sets. So it continues to react. So I'm going to move this one to one side. Got this little one. I'll just put the extra in here. So I'm going to make a whole load of little sample size and 6 nice big ones. So that is a complete surprise. So yeah, I'm going to stick all this lot directly into the dishwasher and I'll come back to you in 24 hours to see what's happened. It's sat for pretty much 24 hours and it's still soft enough to move if I press my finger into it, but it's not runny, it's not that kind of squidgy. It's set like this within about an hour, 2 hours maybe. I just came back to check on it and it was pretty much set, so I think I've done alright. I've got a certain amount of kind of white marbling showing on these ones. I think that's the soda ash from my research. I think that's what that may be. I'm not sure if that's going to cause problems later on, but I'm fairly happy that I've made soap. Having done some more research, I know that this reacted so fast, it went to tray so fast because I had so little water in there essentially. The other recipe that I used previously I thought was a fail because it had about 4 times the water in as an extra thing to slow down the reaction essentially. I didn't realise that, I should have read that little paper. I've done a bit more research so I kind of know where I went wrong the first time was that I was not patient enough to wait for it, and then this time when I was ready to wait for it I didn't need to. So yeah, this is still, because this is still a little soft, I'm not going to do any serious trimming to it, but I need to separate out these ones and then get these out of the mould. I need something to cure it on, or in, so I've got one of my project baskets from the shed. I've given it a good wash so it's got no sawdust or anything in there, and I've put some bamboo skewers across the bottom just to raise up a level so that there's proper air circulation. And doing it this way means that hopefully I can add another layer of skewers for the next batch, so that way I can get maybe 3 layers in there and get them all curing, which will be fine as long as they're done within the next couple of weeks, so that they can all cure at the same time and have a decent amount of time curing, because I won't be able to get to the bottom ones until the top ones are done. So again, gloves on for protection. This shouldn't be caustic anymore, I hope. But I don't want to take any risks, and there is a high probability that the lye hasn't completely reacted out, hasn't completely finished. So I'm just going to free these from the mould. It's a little tacky still. there's a little bit of that marbling effect going on. So I'm just going to lay them onto the sticks, and once they've once they've cured, I will trim off the edges and whatnot. I think that's probably a better choice than trying to do it now. Doesn't smell of anything, but I didn't add any fragrance to it, so I wasn't entirely sure what kind of smell soap should have. It doesn't have one. So to one side. I'm going to run these through the dishwasher just to make sure they're completely clean for the next batch. This being quite an intricate shape, it's going to be somewhat difficult to get off, I think. Maybe not. Oh, it's actually very easy to get off. Right. So I've got a couple of these sticks that are a little closer together, so I should be able to lay these in without too much of a problem. I think I need to add a couple more sticks. Kind of feels like buttery, that's soft butter. Now, I don't know if that's right or not, because most of the recipes you find are just that, they're just mix this and that, do this, and that's how it is. Most recipes don't actually tell you the other bits, the other details, which I think are just as important, particularly for a beginner, to know how things should be after a certain time. Now with Castile soap, it's going to be softer, but hopefully with the addition of the coconuts and palm, that should help it solidify a little faster and cure a little faster. So I'm just going to tape these extras into place, just so it's all secure. Now I'm just going to cover the top of this with a sheet of baking paper, baking parchment, and stick these in the spare room. So this is going to do the same thing as those posh curing racks you see on other people's videos, and hopefully in 6 or 8 weeks these should be ready to trim and finish. So yeah, get ready for some time travel. I'll see you in 6 or 8 weeks.